Lupe Fiasco once had a song called Hip Hop has Saved My Life, or Hip Hop Saved My Life, right? And I don't know if I can say hip hop saved my life per se, but it brought so much joy into my life, man. I fell in love with hip hop over my lifetime. You can ask my lady. I got a rap lyric for every situation I can think of. I can quote verses verbatim. Some of my homies always tell me I can say a verse and make the verse sometimes sound better than what it originally did because I spit it with so much passion because I love hip hop that much, man. It meant a lot to me, especially and through my maturation as a young man into an adult. And I listen to a lot of different hip hop. Conscious rap, gangster rap, listen to what's called the backpack type rap. I listen to the club turn up rap. I listen to it all. I've listened to weed rappers and I've never smoked weed a day in my life. But rap music in general, man, just the expression, the form of expression over those type of hip hop beats, it's just like that artistry, nothing compares to it, man. Nothing compares to it. I can remember the exact point in my life when I really know hip hop and music and hip hop is instrumental in my life because I can remember where I was the exact moment certain tracks dropped. I remember when 50 first dropped Get Rich or Die Trying. I was living on 65th and Minerva. That's like over east in Chicago, right? Not too far from like Ellis and all of that, over east. And I was 10 years old. And I remember that summer, that was all anybody in Chicago was playing. And when I heard that album, like I fell in love with hip hop. Again, that's something I shouldn't even been listening to at 10 years old. Not even in love with the gangster concept, but it was the way 50 was saying the words he was saying. How he was rhyming those words together. How he would say little clever little lines that I could pick up on. Not all that I could pick. I couldn't pick up on it all at a young age. I was really young, but you know, I really had a good comprehension level and I could understand certain metaphors and stuff. I went to a really good school. So, and the way he was flowing on the track, it was just something about the way he was saying what he was saying. I was like, man, this is dope. This is dope. I remember the Dipset era, right? And I remember Jewels. Like, I remember when What's the Game's Been Missing dropped. That was like '05, I think. '05, I was 12. '05, I was like 12 at the time. '05. And I remember my sister took me to go see Cameron play this game against R. Kelly and Bump J. It was a New York versus Chicago game. Cameron was the celebrity playing on the New York team. He brought Jewels with him. Jewels was chilling there. Cameron had the pink Range Rover in the front of Simeon. They was playing at Simeon High School where D Rose and Jabari Parker played, right? This is before D Rose was even. He was playing there, but he was like a young guy, like a sophomore. Like he was like a sophomore at Simeon at the time. So he was still a little under the radar. He was known in Chicago though. But anyway, yeah. So when I saw them rap star, it was the first celebrities. Those were the first celebrities I ever saw in my life, rappers. And I remember when I listened to Jewel's album, and I thought it was just like so dope, like Rumble, Young Man Rumble, like all of that. I had an MP3 player, right, that I would put music on. My mother got it for me for Christmas, and I would just go to school. Me and my little sister, I'd be bumping his music. We on the school bus, I'm bumping it. It's getting me ready for my morning. Like it got me amped to go to school. I don't know, man. It just made my day better listening to music. Listen to hip hop music. It made my day better. Seriously, and I couldn't explain it, but I was in love with hip hop, man. I was going to Target when I had some little change, some little money I would get for Christmas or my birthday. I would go get a CD. I would pick up albums. I bought Jeezy, Thug Motivation. I bought the 102. I bought that joint. I went to go buy that album, and I was just like, I was just so enthralled with the album. Like I put it on the MP3 player immediately. I just kept listening to it all the time, remembering the words, and I'm like, man. And Jeezy was like at that time one of my favorite rappers. He really was, man. I remember even listening to Cameron Come Home With Me when they sampled that. Oh, that boy. When they was just sampling, he was rapping around that part of the beat. That was dope. However they did it when they was, I guess they was inserting. They were inserting. I'm sure inserting the word boy on certain parts when he was finna say boy, but he was rapping around that, and he was having the engineer put in boy at the certain points he wanted to say boy. I thought that was clever. I thought it was dope. Joel's was like 17 at the time rapping with him. I remember when they dropped Hey Ma in the Hey Ma video. Like, that was just a dope, fun video, man. Hip hop had so many fun points to me. I would go home and watch 106 in Park every single day to see what was the new joint, what, rap joint or something was coming out that I had to get up on. I remember my uncles got me into Jadakiss. I was a young boy, but I wasn't into Jada when he first dropped, but a couple of years later, they're like, man, they was playing it all the time. I'm like, I remember my uncle used to play this all the time. Like, I said, what the game's been missing. What was that album with Knock Yourself Out on? Let me type that in. Was that Kiss the Game Goodbye? Let me see. But yeah, when he was he had Knock Yourself Out on all that and We Gon' Make It and all of that, my uncle would play that all the time, and I was like, man, what is this? What is he talking about? I would always want to hear it all the time. Styles P, like when Styles was coming out, they was listening to all of that. My cousin was into Fab. My brothers was play Fab all the time. So I would remember these lines, and I was thinking like, man, this dude got crazy wordplay. How is he thinking of this stuff to match a metaphor to say what he's saying? How is he coming up with these similes and all of that? Like, again, hip hop, I was understanding hip hop at the same time I was learning these different things within the English language, like metaphors and similes and all of that, like in onomatopoeia and alliteration. I was learning all of those things at the same time I was really consuming hip hop. So it made me understand the music better, and it made me more thrilled to listen to hip hop music. I remember my mama got me Jay-Z, the Blackout album for Christmas, y'all, in 04. Was it? Oh yeah, I think it was 04. We was living on 48th in Indiana, low end at the time. We on 48th in Indiana, not too far from where the Robert Taylor Projects was, where my auntie and them stayed in. She got me Black Album for Christmas, man, and I'm on there, I'm listening. You already know what I'm about, flying birds down south, moving wet off the step, purple rain in a drought. Like, Jay-Z was going crazy. He was snapping. And that's when he was saying he was going to bow out the game gracefully. Like, and then, what the hell are you waiting for after me? There should be no more. Like, all of that, like, I'm like, wow. And that Jadakiss album was Kiss the Game Goodbye that dropped in 01. That's when he had Jada's Got a Gun. Like, that joint opened the album up. Fire. But anyway, man, yeah, man, all of that. I remember listening to that. My mama gave me that Black album. I was learning them lyrics. And I was just like, man, I'm like, Jay, this is so dope. I thought Change Clothes was dope. Like, Dirt Off Your Shoulder, all of that. I'm like, man, I was learning all that. I was playing my NBA Live. Turn with the volume turned down, playing live. Got the rap music bumping in my room. I had like a little CD player. My mama got me a slick CD player. And at the time I'm listening, I bought the little CDs. Mind you, too, we was on 48th in Indiana. They had like a little store that sold all the mixtapes. This before hip-hop, the online stuff was jumping. This before live mixtapes and all of that. I would go to the store. They had out CDs for $5. I bought Lil Flip album for $5. Out of the store. What was that album with Game Over on? I forgot. Lil Flip, Game Over. Let me see. What album was that? Let me see. Oh, You Gotta Feel Me album. I bought that. I would bought some Lloyd Banks mixtapes, some G-Unit mixtapes out of there. I bought a Fabulous CD out of there. Like, I was buying mixtapes all the time when I had some money for $5 because I was just that into music where I wanted to hear what was being said next. Who had a mixtape coming out now? Like, I was really going to the store for mixtapes before the internet era came out. And when I got older, when I went to college, right, hip-hop got me through some of my toughest times in life. I remember being in college when Drake and J. Cole dropped. J. Cole debut album dropped in 2011, The Sideline Story. And Take Care came out, Drake's second album. I was going through it in college, right? I'm going through it. I'm really like, school is like heavy. This is my first semester. I'm 10 hours away from home. I'm getting homesick. You know, my relationship ain't going the way I wanted it to go at the time. A previous relationship, and I'm like, oh my God, man. School getting frustrated. I got all this homework. Got to study for tests. Really learned how to study in college. And I was listening to J. Cole and Drake, and it was just easing my mind, making me worry less, and really just navigate smoothly. It was putting me in a peaceful state. When I really was kind of like in my head, like going through it, like, man, I don't know if I can do this college stuff. And I'm on scholarship. Like, I'm like, man, I got to study. It's like, it was a little hard for me. It's the math subject. And I remember listening to the Sideline Story and them tracks on there and Drake Take Care. And I started feeling like I can do anything when I was listening to hip hop music. I remember when I first heard Kanye West. Kanye first dropped in 2004. When Kanye dropped, like, that did something to me as a young man to see somebody from Chicago, Illinois, from the Chi. Now, mind you, before then, I felt like everybody had to come from New York to be on. I felt like you had to be from the Bronx, from Brooklyn, from Harlem. You had to either be from the West Coast somewhere to make it. I didn't really think Chicago rappers made it. Kanye was a producer turned rapper. This is the time I'm really a Kanye. At that time, I was a huge Kanye fan. Because when I first saw Through the Wire, and that man had Harold's Chicken right on the 103rd and Halsted by where my grandma stayed. When he had Harold's Chicken in there, and when that man had he had Jackie Robinson Park right by my grandma's crib over there in the Hunters, like, I'm like, bro, like, what? He got every part of Chicago, Leon's Barbecue in the video, all of that. Like, it warmed my heart. It did something to me, y'all. I couldn't describe it, but I felt like, man, like, he really is telling my story. He's a kid. He ain't no gang member. He ain't no street dude. He's just a dude from the hood that had to learn how to adapt to where he lived. And he ended up just growing and blossoming, being himself. That let me know that I could be myself at all times. I didn't have to be no hood dude, no street dude. Kanye was a dude that was wearing polo and fitted clothes before it was cool to wear the fitted clothes. Before it was cool to wear the polo shirts all the time. And like, he was really doing that. He was really being himself, authentically himself. And people bought it and bought into it and they loved it. He made a song about Jesus Walks, and made it a hit on the radio in Chicago on 107.5 GCI, 92.3, Power 92. They was playing Jesus Walks like it was a club banger. And that was him being himself and say, you know what, he had it in his mind, he could do it. People said I couldn't rap, they said I couldn't do this, they said I couldn't turn Jesus Walk into a hit song, they said I couldn't become a producer and a rapper. I'ma show him, and he showed them. That let me know I could do whatever I set my mind out to. Whatever people say I couldn't do. They say I couldn't make a successful YouTube channel. Said I was too shy to have a career in something like this, talking to y'all. So I'm going to do this. But I was a shy kid. So it let me, like, I guess, it gave me more confidence to see somebody from where I'm from, being themselves, make it at the highest level. It did wonders for me, man. Wonders. And when I first heard Slow Jams, and heard Twista get the play that he deserved, people thought Twista was a new artist. Twista been in the shot doing his thing with Do or Die and Johnny P. When he put Twista in the mix and had Twista and had that joint on Twista album, Twista went platinum. He had that. He had Overnight Celebrity. He had what's that? So Sexy with R. Kelly. He had what else? Twista had like another joint on that album, man. Twista, that Kamikaze album was fire. And I remember that. I remember one time my sister was in, like, my older sister. She's really smart in engineering and mathematics and science and all of that. She had like a mathematics or science program when she was doing it at Bradley University in Peoria. My uncle JP drove me, my mama, and my sister and my cousin. We all rode with him as he took us to Peoria so she can go to this program. And he was playing a Kamikaze album as we was riding down there. And we in the car getting amped because the album was so dope. And my Uncle JP pushed it out and brought my sister down into that college. She stayed there for some weeks, for like a month and a half. During that summer, you know, for that little college program, man. I miss my sister, but I really learned in that car ride. I really was listening to Twista and learning, like, man, like, this dude is dope, man. He's dope. And I was just smiling because I knew he was getting the recognition he deserved because we had been hearing him with Do or Die. My uncles and them had been playing him. My cousins been playing Twista. So it was like, man, it was huge for him to get that look with Kanye. But hip-hop has been an instrumental part of my life. Like, they describe certain moments to me that happened so clearly. Listening to Lupe talking, he had a song called "Sitting in Chicago" over the "Sitting Sideways" beat, right? And he was talking about how kids in Chicago, at some points, how gang members used to just try to mess with you. They try to like basically, they try to okay, get you to drop the rakes, drop GD or something like that, get you to do that type of stuff, and they GD just to chase you and jump on you, like wild stuff in Chicago. Like kids having to deal with gangs and all that stuff in Chicago, and you're not even a gang member, like you dealing with the next dudes on the block or whatever living over there, and you just trying to really stay in your straight and narrow path and be you, but you just a good kid living in the mad city like Kendrick Lamar. That album explains perfectly how a lot of good kids get caught up in madness in the city because of their environment, what's going on in their environment around them. Again, back to the Lupe fiasco, sitting in Chicago, him subscribing Chicago, how you can't cock your hat, how you can't try to have one foot in and one foot out of the gang, like either you in it or you not. And if you in it, all the consequences come with it. And how gang life was a big part in Chicago, and how he was just always being himself, whether it was skateboarding, whether it was doing martial arts, whether it was just being a rapper, whether it was being a guy that was just into conscious things, or he was just into just doing different things than what the other kids did, and he was just always authentically himself. That stuff resonated with me, man. Hip hop, I loved hip hop so much. I was hearing all that stuff over them hard beats, and I'm like, man, what is that? I remember hearing Fabulous with DJ Clue. I remember first hearing Cassidy rap against that little Cassidy freestyle on YouTube when YouTube first dropped. I remember watching Rap City, watching the basement. People coming in the basement with Big Tigger, and Big Tigger had flow. He was rapping for real, he really could rap. And he would get in there and freestyle with the other rappers, and they would get in there and do their thing. I remember seeing Cam count money while he rapping. Him and Dipset in there flowing. 50 coming in there with G-Unit, flowing. The G-Unit era. I remember all of that. And it was a big part of my childhood. I remember what grade I was in, all of that, man. And the creativity that oozes out of hip-hop, it caused me to write poetry as a kid. I had a poem go down state because, I don't know, man, I was just always thought it was so dope how rappers could put words together and make things rhyme and make a story out of it, that I wanted to do the same type of things. I would write poems and stuff for school and all of that, and something that went downstate. And it got an award or something. I don't even remember. It's called Hoop Dreams. I made a point because I love playing basketball, and hip hop and basketball go hand in hand, man. But I fell in love with hip hop. I love this genre. I'm always going to be immersed in it. I'm always going to listen to the new albums when they drop. I'm going to listen to the mixtapes, the projects. I'm going to start doing album reviews on this channel. That's what I'm going to start doing. Album reviews. Because making this video, man, it just made me think how much hip hop's been a huge part of my life. And it's something that I'm always going to be a fan of. The culture has advanced so much that it started off black people just being into it. Now you got all different races being into hip hop music. Everybody want to know what the hip hop culture is like. It moves the needle for everything. For everything. Hip hop culture is an extension of black culture. And it's the cool culture. And it's something, this art form is special. Hip-hop is a special art form, man. For guys to talk about the harsh realities of life, the fun times in life, talk about their life experiences with women, with the neighborhood, with maturing as a man, talking about fatherhood, like when the game did Like Father, Like Son. That was a powerful. His kid's gonna always remember that song that he wrote for his firstborn son. Then he did another Like Father, Like Son with his two sons rapping on it. They were describing, when he described the birth of his child, and the game is an ultimate clout chaser. But that one thing that man can do, he can rap his butt off. For real. And like those type of moments you can describe, like when Nas was rapping as if he was a jail cell. Then he made a song rapping as if he was a gun. Like those type of things, man. Hip hop is special. It's a special genre. And I hope that people keep respecting the craft, respecting the genre, and advancing it forward, man. I'm tired of ranting y'all. I know y'all tired of hearing me talking. Peace.